Hey, everybody, we are back with another episode. And today I have such a special guest, and I'm so excited to talk to her because you've heard me talk about this a million times. But if you have a website, if you're creating content, you need professional photos. You need to know what you're posting. This is your brand, this is your message, and it has to look good. So, who better to have on the show but Anna Laura, who is the owner of the Shine Studio. And we're going to be talking about moving beyond personal branding. Now, before I introduce Laura fully, I want to say some of the things she's going to talk about. I'm really, really curious because one of the things she says is that personal branding is useless. And you know how I feel. And I'm really, really curious. I love when I get somebody on here and I'm like, I don't think I agree with her, but I know she's going to drop a bomb that's going to give me like that aha moment. And I can't wait to hear what she has to say. But we're going to get there in a minute. First off, Anna Laura, thank you so much for coming on. This is great.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to dive in. Like I said, I know it's a bold statement. And so get ready. We're going to dive in.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So you are the owner of the Shine Studio. Tell me a little bit about what is the Shine Studio? Who are you? What are you all about?
Absolutely. So hello, my name is Anna Laura, as you have stated. So I'm the lead photographer and owner of the Shine Studio. We're a branding photography studio for bold women-owned businesses based in Charleston, South Carolina. That's where I call home. I moved here a couple of years ago with my husband, and we had twins who are now toddlers, identical twin boys. We have 2 dogs. Life's a circus, so juggling, just all the things. And yeah, it's not a balancing act. It's a juggling act for sure, circus act, if you will. I'm so passionate about branding. I started out in speech pathology of all things and did a stint in fitness and wellness, and lo and behold, went back to my creative roots and picked up a camera in 2018 and never looked back. And that's what I do full time now, is get to serve these really ambitious, beautiful business owners through brand photography and micro video. So that's in a very short nutshell, I think. Maybe I know I skipped over
on the identical twin boys. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Yes, I did. There'll be 2 in January, and it's pandemonium in our house.
That is crazy, exciting, and so much fun. I bet it is like a circus over there.
Yes, 100%. No, we got dogs running around and boys running around climbing on things, and yeah, it's insane, but in the best way. Most of the time.
I get it. I have 2 boys. They are not twins, but they're 18 months apart. And some days it felt a little like it, but not. I am not taking anything away from you. It's not.
No, I can't imagine having 2 in different stages and then 2 in the same state. Like it's all madness. And but we make
so much
the absolute best of things.
So. I love it though. You know what? I mean, my boys are my world. I've the 2 boys and they are everything. And now they're, oh my goodness, they're 24 and 26. So they are young men and they're amazing. And it doesn't matter how old they get. They're still my baby boys, and boys are cool. They made life easy for me. The beginning was crazy because they do things. There's no fear, like pulling teeth out with pliers for the tooth fairy money. I mean, helping each other. I mean, I've got stories, right? But they were easy aside from some of the boy like antics that they do.
I have 2 older brothers as well. And I know growing up with them well into their 20s, they'd feed off each other.
Yes. Mine still do.
Yes, I don't think it goes away, honestly.
Language or something, like they both know what the other one is, just a look, and they know what they're thinking. Yes. And they have these inside jokes that I have no clue what they're about, but they are funny. It's yes, I get it. There's something about boys. But I love it. I would not change it.
Yes, no, I'm the same way, but that's another reason why I'm very grateful for the clients that I get to work with being women-owned businesses. It's just nice to get to out in conversation and to talk with another woman. And I'm just like, wow, especially as like, particularly I've become passionate about my mom business owners and
Yeah.
just helping make life a little easier for
Yeah.
them to show up with a big, beautiful, bold message through visuals. So that's like one of the other reasons I'm like, oh wow, we can make things beautiful, we can make things real, and step away from the circus act. Now we're doing.
Yeah, a little bit of sanity over here.
Yes,
So
yes.
let's first talk about like a branding photographer. What is that? Because somebody may be listening and not really know what that is. Or like, well, I hired a
Absolutely.
photographer, but what's a branding photographer?
You're so right. And when I transitioned, like I said, I went through a couple of pivots in my 20s, and before I found this idea of serving business owners, I didn't know that was a thing. And honestly, in 2018, exclusively serving business owners, let alone niching down even further to just women-owned businesses, was practically not a thing at that time. Social media was still, especially Instagram, was still relatively new. Reels, TikTok, none of that existed. And so in 2018, pivoting into this, it started with the idea of when I was with health and wellness, I had more people coming to my website and then my team members every single week asking me more advice on my website design and photography than anything health and wellness related. And so in the spirit of going where you're called and thinking of what people are asking you for, I leaned into that, and it clicked for me that this is so much of my purpose in that season. And now I'm very passionate about helping other photographers step into the branding space as well. And really what that means is ensuring that as business owners, we all know, I think we all know, I mean, we're on a podcast right now. Maybe you're like seeing a clip of this on Instagram, or you're hearing about like social media. It's just everywhere. It's a beautiful, amazing way to market your business, but we constantly need new things. And like you said at the beginning, having something that is not just pretty, but authentic to your brand is crucial. And so as a photographer, you might be able to take a beautiful portrait, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate to business. And so making sure that you know exactly what your client needs these images for. It could be the most beautiful thing, but if there's not enough room for text, or if it's not cropped right for a website, it's not going to serve the clients well. And so that's a very long-winded version of brand photography. It's essentially serving business owners and other entrepreneurs through photography in a very strategic manner.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I love the part where you said about having enough for text. When I am working with somebody and designing a website and they are hiring a photographer themselves, I'm always like, make sure they get some photos in landscape, because for your website, you don't want everything in portrait. You
You're going to
need.
need banner images. Like it's not just all about the Instagram grid or
No,
like
it's
what
not.
like that 9x16 it's not all about that. Like we do still need wide shots for banner images and to have some of that negative space to be able to lay in your text and your offers and everything. So it's thinking about the bigger picture for the person that you're serving and how this one shot in this one moment is going to later come back to this business owner in the form of money. And that's what you're doing, is you're helping your client get their business out there in order for them to make more money. Like that's it in a nutshell.
That's it. You're right. That I never thought of it that way, but that's pretty much
That's
it.
marketing in a nutshell. Is just we're serving you in order to make sure that you like can grow and thrive. And this is just one piece of that, is just this one image and how it can translate to a variety of different layouts and mediums.
Yes, I love it. I know. I stick with my favorites, my favorite images.
Yes,
But
tried and true.
yeah. So you made a comment, and I mentioned this early on, that personal branding is useless. And I know you're going to hit me with an aha moment that makes me realize why I shouldn't disagree with you. But talk to me about that. What makes you say that?
Absolutely. So through my experience with interacting with clients, I get a sense And I've been told that we don't understand, like the client might not understand what their personal brand is, why it's important. And over the years, I've figured out that it's actually not that important in terms of a personal brand, because there's so many misconceptions and misinformation out there about like this idea of a personal brand. People have over time, I think, misconstrued things. Like there's a misconception that it's purely yourself, your own promotion, when in fact true personal branding should focus on like the more meaningful connections and like genuine substance. It emphasizes authenticity, genuineness, values, consistent behavior that aligns with your brand, your business. So if you go onto your business website and then you go onto a personal branding Instagram, if those two aren't aligned, that automatically builds a distrust and a disconnect with your business from a customer or client perspective. So if I were to go on your personal Instagram and you're talking about something completely off topic, completely that negates your business values and those things, that's why I feel that a personal brand is kind of, I mean, that is 2018. That's what I was doing in 2018. We don't need to do that. What we should focus on as a business owner is building more of our founder presence. And that is making sure that, you know, we're continuing to evolve, like personal and professional growth. We're showing this growth over time. And like I said, continuing to emphasize that authenticity, that genuineness, our core values as a brand and as a business, we're showing those through our personal pages as well. So personal branding, I feel, is over and done. And we as business owners and entrepreneurs should focus on our founder presence in our business.
That is such an interesting argument. And I see what you're saying. And I knew you were going to hit me with something where I know I'm going to agree with her, but I don't, that statement, I don't. And as you're talking about, does your website, if the website doesn't have the same message as your Instagram or whichever platform we're on, then it does build mistrust. And I'm thinking, oh no, I don't know if mine does, because like, so I have 2 different Instagram accounts and 2 websites. And one is for the Entrepreneur Society, which that does align. And the other one is for my digital marketing agency, which is Carbon Silk, which is really just me. And so sometimes I let me come through, and sometimes it doesn't always align with it doesn't negate it, right? It's like,
which is so important. I'm probably, I would say hands down, like the most important thing is making sure that at the end of the day, everything is in alignment. It doesn't negate each other, because like I said, that connection, like having that cohesiveness, one as a potential customer, it's going to make it very easy for me and clear for me what you're about, and that I can see myself, you know, working with you or buying from you, because I know 100% without a doubt who you are, versus like if it negates, like it just, that builds that like, wait a second, I thought she said
yeah. No, I don't do that. I'm pretty consistent when it like on all that, right? But just and I am actually creating some content that you know, when you juggle 2, it's like it's like I find myself like I'll put more energy into one, and then it's like, wait, shift, right? So now I've got some help to help me balance both of them. So we're re-looking at all that. So I'm glad you're saying this now.
Yes, that's another great point too, is not only from a client or consumer perspective, but also from a business owner. You're not trying to speak to 2 different people either,
Right.
like totally with conflicting opinions, conflicting everything else. It makes it easier for you to show up, because I understand like the multi-passionate or the multi-website. I think at one point I had like 3 different things going on. I was like, wait a second. But at the end of the day, the core values were still connection, still community, and still like this real like girl talk, and just making sure, like, you know, like the shareable, the just being real, was very like, and is still very important to me, and help just being helpful, I think is another core value of mine. So if I went somewhere that was like, no, you're going to do it yourself and figure it out yourself. And it's like, wait, is this the same Anna Laura
Yeah.
who am I talking about? Like, this is her evil twin. Like,
Yeah.
no. Like, so as long as at the end of the day, the big pieces of core values align, I think that's the most important thing. And so there's, like I was saying, there's all these misconceptions about personal branding being just like about the self. It's just self-promotion. It's like, you can't share your business and your personal life. Like, it's, you pick a brand and you only stick with that. Like, you're a person, you're going to grow and evolve and change, and your brand will too. And as a founder, some things will shift. And so leaning more into your role as a founder, I feel as a business owner, it just makes it easier to show up when you think more as a founder and building that founder presence. And how can I, as a business owner, show up for my clients rather than, what should I post today for my personal brand to grow my personal brand, like my personal brand? Because that's what it does. It kind of
I know.
get across that selfness, when as business owners, at the end of the day, it's about service, not self.
It is. Yes. I love that you just said that. That right there is a quote. So talk to me, what is a brand personality?
Yes,
And
I'm
how
so
is
glad
that
you asked.
different from personal branding?
Yes, I know. It's like, it feels like there's so much overlap because they're basically the same words and kind of different order.
Right?
Yes.
It's just the
So
order. How does the order make it two different things?
I think it too, but it totally changes the meaning, right?
Yeah.
So for personal branding, a personal brand, like that is that intentional effort to shape your public's perception of you. So it really does more center on, like, as a personal brand, on the individual, whereas a brand personality is centered on your brand's identity, that tone, your communication style. So there are still elements of you. There should be. You should not, if it is work to show up in your business, like, your brand personality is completely misaligned with who you are, it's going to be so hard to show up. Um, so the personal branding is, like, differentiates yourself, right? Your founder presence. That's what builds the trust and the credibility for your community. Whereas your brand personality, it's more of an archetype where, you can be sincere, excited, competent, sophistication, fun, bold. Like, there are these different elements that go into your brand personality. I've kind of narrowed it down to 4. I feel like I see 4
Yeah.
very common types. So there's
Okay.
the confident business owner, the fun business owner. I'm blanking completely on my last 2. I'm in the process of actually, like,
They put you on the spot.
I'm like, wait a second, like, what were the other 2? I just posted this in my stories the other day because I was thinking about all my clients and how these different personalities tend to come across, and you can have all 4 of them. But it's a matter of how much you show, because I know for me, like, I'm not the super analytical type. I'm definitely more of, like, fun and creative. And so if I were to show up in, like, a suit, edgy blazer, like, with a serious, confident,
Yeah.
but, like, that's just not me. If we were to sit down for coffee like we are now, like, you
Yeah.
can very much see that ain't it. So yeah, that's like the confident, edgy, fun, professional, is another one that I thought about. And I'm totally blank. There's one more.
One
By
more.
the end of
You're gonna, before it's over, you're gonna remember what
by
that one
the end
is.
of this, we will.
So well, I'll ask you this first.
Sure.
How do we know which one we are?
That's a great question. So I think that's more leaning into that idea of the founder presence and figuring out yourself. How do you show up on a daily basis? What does your audience tell you about, what is the number one feedback that you get? For me, working with my clients, more often than not, I think 9 times out of 10 shoots, someone says something about my energy and
Mm,
how working with me, it was so fun, that they just felt comfortable
mhm.
is a big one, but just something about the energy it's of working together. And so for me, making sure that aligns with my brand, that there is like this bold, energetic, um, feel when you come into contact with my
Yeah,
brand. Like it's not complete. Again, it's all about alignment with, I feel, who you are as a person, what you're told and your gifts are, what you feel your gifts are, and taking all these elements into account so that it's you're able to translate that to your brand's tone, your brand's visuals, like everything that you do, it creates more ease and flow in your branding and showing up in your business, because you're not having to like put on a persona and like,
yeah.
well, today I'm going to be the super professional, serious person, but I'm just not. Like, no,
Yeah,
if that's not you, there's no rule that you have to show up as that person. So I think just really think about what people are asking you, what comments and feedback you get from people, because that's at the end of the day who you're showing up for is your people. And so if you're not operating in a space and it feels like you're having to put on a mask every time you go to share something online or go to show up in your office for a client meeting or something, if there's a piece of that that's like, oh, like, I mean,
yeah,
some days as a business, I get it. We're going to have those
yeah.
days. But generally, we shouldn't have to feel like we're putting on a mask in order to show up
Mm.
in our business and create an alter ego or a huge persona. It's just you showing up to serve. And so figuring out your personality at the end of the day is the best and easiest way I can recommend for long-term sustainable branding.
I thank you for sharing all that,
Awesome.
and there were a lot of aha moments in there, and I just wanna say everything you said, like, you are so on point. You have to be who you are. I
Yes.
worked with a client a few years ago, and this was during the early phase of her business,
Mhm.
and she was amazing at what she did, but it was early, so imposter syndrome would creep in every once in a while, and we were talking about her website and looking at it, and she did beautiful work,
Mhm.
and she did events and beautiful stuff. So she would invest money into going in her business and her to sharpen her skills. And she went
Mhm.
to a conference, and the person that was speaking at the conference was obviously killing it and was where she desired to be. So
Yeah.
she was able to see everything that this particular speaker was saying and doing. And she's like, yes, I want it. Right. So and sh and I've been guilty of this too, and I know a lot of people have been guilty of this. So she left that conference, came back to me and said, "I need to change everything that I'm doing because
Mhm.
this is how she does it." And I'm not talking about systems. I'm not talking about, the processes, the things that she went to the conference to learn to sharpen
Mhm.
those skills. I'm talking about the whole personality she wanted to adopt. And it was really a challenge for me to say, "But that's not you." Like,
Mhm.
yes, incorporate this part, right, for your business,
Right.
but on your website, don't change that verbiage because you don't talk like that. You don't
Right.
sound like that. It's
Yes.
not you. And it was really hard because she's like, "But she's killing it." And I'm like, "But that's
Because
her."
it's authentic.
It's authentic. Yes.
Because
And so
that is her.
yes. And as you were talking, I'm thinking of this person who, by the way,
Mhm.
is now killing it. And I love seeing everything she's doing. She is
Because she stayed
authentically
true to
yes.
who her innate personality is.
Oh, she has
And
an amazing
yes,
personality. She
yes,
is she is amazing. She is a
yes.
beautiful woman. She is fun. She's full of energy. She's smart.
Mhm.
She has all these amazing characteristics, right? And she was really, really good at what she did. But she thought she had to be somebody else for a hot minute early on.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
haven't talked to her, but looking at her social, I'm thinking that she's now confident being her.
Yes. And that's at the end of the day, I think what it's all about. I love that you mentioned confidence. Like, because I think confidence a lot of the time comes from ease. Like we're confident and because we're comfortable. Like we are
Right.
confident because like we are so like we know who we are. And so if you don't, that makes it very tricky, especially in the days of social media where different messages are flying at you. You're like squirrel brain because, oh, that
Right.
looks cool. What she's doing is cool, like what you said. And so whenever I get like a Pinterest board of inspiration photos for a shoot, I just want to make sure that that aligns with one, who the person I'm shooting is. Let's say I'm shooting with Sarah. If Sarah's given me photos that don't align with one, her message, and also like who I know she is, and also who she's attracting, I think like that's a recipe for disaster because we can't copy paste branding. It's just not gonna work. So as a
Mm,
photographer, take the lead on calling out, like as the creative, like you did with the website. This isn't you. I know you. You told me XYZ. And we're going to hold you to that. Here's how we can take elements of this, but make it yours so that when you go to share, it's not a copy paste cookie cutter branding.
yes.
People know it's you. And that's that founder presence that we're talking about.
And I appreciate you saying that because as somebody who hires photographers, I'm looking to
Mhm.
you for guidance.
Yes.
And sure, I can put things that I like in there, and I have a
Mhm.
bunch of photos that you can see on my website that obviously I do like,
Mhm.
right? But I'm looking for that guidance. So I love that you just share that, like, take charge as a photographer
Yes.
and
Yes.
teach us, tell us what we need to do.
Yes, absolutely. Like you are like as a photographer, I'm so like I said, I'm so passionate about helping other photographers branch into who are considering branching into branding or have added that as a service, really redefining what that is. It's not just taking a pretty picture for Instagram. There's so much
Yeah,
more strategy involved beyond just one singular pretty photo.
yeah,
There's we mentioned the not just the cropping of the shot, but also like how it's going to be used and what it's going to say. What does
mhm,
it say immediately when you look at this person? Does it
yeah,
translate to who they are as the founder and what their overall like long-term vision is for their business and for their community?
yeah. That is so great. Thank you so much, Anna Laura. So
Mhm.
you have a freebie right now
I
on your
do.
website.
Yes.
Can you share it and
Yes.
who it's for? Tell us who it's for and how it'll help them.
Yes, so this freebie is my brand shoot prep guide. I already actually send this to all my clients. I have not made any changes to the wording or anything. This is something that I give to all my clients before I shoot to help with those kind of tactical pieces on like how we're going to present ourselves at least physically. So tips on outfit changes and posing and beauty appointments to consider making before your shoot. So all these tips and a lot more is in this prep guide. And so you as the photographer or you as a client can use this as a jumping off point for your next brand shoot. And if you want to get into the strategy of like, well, I don't even know my brand personality, or I have a pretty decent idea of what my brand personality is, but I'm not sure how to show that as a founder. Let's definitely chat. We can talk about like how your audience perceives you, how to even connect with your audience. And if you're a photographer, I'm happy to share ideas. I do not gatekeep. I think it's very important for us to continue to share and learn and grow and really revolutionize like this, like a new era of branding where we go beyond just a basic laptop photo and really dive into what makes this business owner unique and how they're connecting with their audience. I tell you something, it is not another picture of a woman sitting at her desk with her laptop. I guarantee it. It's a bold statement, but that is not a brand photo. That is a beautiful portrait shot of a lady with her laptop. What does that say about her? It says that, like every other person, even in corporate America, she's at her desk on the laptop. That's not her brand. What is her personality? Let's dive into how we can share that. So, all that to say, I have this prep guide for you. I'm happy to share it. And if you have any questions at all about like the strategy or the tactical or posing or anything, I'm happy to chat. My DMs are always open at Anna Laura Sommer, and that's Summer with an O. So
Well, all the links so that you can meet and connect with Anna Laura
yes.
and get this freebie. It's all in the show notes. So, or if you're on the blog, it's right at the bottom. Just scroll down and you'll find all the links to access her on her website and social media. Anna Laura, thank you, thank you so much for coming on today. This was great. The wheels are spinning. I'm like, oh my gosh, all these ideas. I need to get this freebie just for me.
Yes.
So this is wonderful. And yes, so thank you. I'm going to talk to you offline because I know we talked about having you also teach a deeper dive in the Entrepreneur Society for the members. So if you are listening in, you want to stay tuned. If you're part of the membership, she's going to go even deeper with us. So anyhow, Anna Laura, thank you again so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. We will catch you next time. We'll see ya.